Okay, so I think I'm live. Okay. Good morning, actually good evening. Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. I'm Fatma Majid Malik and I'm from Pakistan. Currently, I'm pursuing my bachelor's in psychology program from the University of Page. I'm a scholarship holder, as well as I represent my university as an international student ambassador and a mentor, which means that I assist all the incoming students coming to my university with all the procedures that need to be addressed. Since I already told you that I'm a scholarship holder, so I'm here today to share my experience with all of you and why I applied for this scholarship, what this scholarship has given me, how do I feel about my university, the Hungarian educational system, and how can you also benefit from this system and the scholarship. And also, I am open for questions if you have any in the comment section, but I also would like to ask you to have some patience. Let me complete first. Let me share all my information with you. So then if you have any questions that I haven't already addressed, you can ask me, because should understand that it's really hard for me to keep on repeating the same things over and over again. I hope it's understandable. Okay. So basically, our timeline would be today that why you should apply for this scholarship, which is basically the benefits, and how should you apply for it, what are the shortlisting procedures, and also if you have other questions relevant to your cost of living, where should you live when you go there, how much money do you need, and anything related, I can maybe read in the questions and I can also help you with that if there's something that I'm missing. Okay. Okay, I'm already receiving questions. I already told you, please wait, just wait a bit, okay? So, what are the benefits for applying in Stipendium Hungaricum? Basically, it's a Hungarian scholarship. So, if you apply for it, you're eligible to study in all the Hungarian institutes. You will have multiple benefits that I will just mention. First of all, and the foremost and the biggest benefit that I see in this scholarship is that it's completely funded, which means that you don't have to pay a penny for your tuition fee. So there are courses ranging from 4,000 euros a year to 6,000 to 8,000. I am currently a bachelor's in psychology student, and my yearly fee, I suppose, is around 8,000 euros a year. Now, when you see them in euros, it's not a huge amount, but because we are from Pakistan or any other country you're applying from, and we see the conversion rates, so it's a big trouble for us to pay that amount of money. So I think it's a very big benefit that it covers the entire tuition fee. You do get a certain amount of money every month. It's not too much, but it's enough if you're staying in Hungary with that money. Now, what do I mean by this is that you actually get around 120 euros a month as your monthly stipend. But if you convert this money in Hungarian currency, which is the Hungarian forints, it becomes around 43,000. So if you are good in managing money, you don't spend money unless it's not needed, and you don't have a hole in your hand practically, which I do, then I think you can live with this money normally. I'm not saying it includes your traveling and the luxuries, just normal living, your groceries and stuff. That's it. Now, along with that, it also covers your residence. What I mean by this is it also gives you 120 euros every month for your residence, which is again about like 40,000 to 43,000 forints. And this must be shocking for you, because in the other European countries, you need to pay around 300 or 400 euros for an accommodation, and you cannot find anything cheaper than that, especially if you're watching this webinar from Germany, because I see, students who are on scholarship in Germany usually come to me and they're telling me, oh, we get 850 euros, and even that is hard to live by. How do you live by in only 120 euros, and this is nothing? But then I say it's again a currency difference and the economy and so many other reasons, so you just cannot really compare. So you basically get 120 euros for your accommodation, and the student dormitories in Hungary are usually the same price for every month, around 120 euros. Currently, I'm residing in Santo dormitory. It's one of the best dormitories in my city, Page. So I pay 40,000. It just directly goes from the this organization that is funding me directly to my dormitory authorities, and I don't even have to bother. I don't even have to worry about any expenses every month. And that's pretty much it. But if you're thinking about renting an apartment, or you're not really comfortable in a dormitory, then you might well have to add a bit more money if you want to have your own apartment, because it should be around 350 to 400 euros. But if you want to share an apartment with two people at least, actually it's not at least, it's the max, then you can still manage in 40,000 with just 120 euros. So you can have your own room, and you can also choose an apartment to live in. But on my personal level, I would really advise you to choose to stay in a dormitory when you come, instead of choosing to stay in an apartment, because that will just help you get over this culture shock and missing your family and so many other things, and you will make a lot of friends like I did. And the good thing is, if you're applying from Pakistan, then you really know about HEC, Higher Education Commission. They also tend to fund your two tickets. That's your one-way ticket when you're going from here to Hungary, and then when you graduate and you want to come back, they pay around 75,000 PKR, and you can buy your ticket in it. And so this also helps if you're traveling and you're short of money. So these were just the very basic benefits this scholarship provides. And also, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the health insurance. So you're eligible to for, I think, about 230 euros every year for your health insurance. So if you need to go see a doctor, or you need medications, or you're probably in an emergency, God forbid, then you don't have to worry because you have a health insurance. On the other hand, if you're a self or fee-paying student, students tend to pay lots of money for their health issues. I knew a friend; she was in a lot of trouble recently, and she was a self, finance student, and she had to visit the doctor. And I think she spent about like 400 to 500 euros just on this. So I think it's a huge benefit for the scholarship holders to have a covered health insurance as well. Okay, let me see questions, because there are a lot. Okay. So one more thing, I would kindly really ask you to stop sending me such particular questions, or I want to study this course. Can I study this course? All of this information is already mentioned on the ATC website. I'm sure you know that. They've given this link for the organization that's giving the Hungarian scholarship, and as well as they mention all the subjects that they provide and at which university they provide, and whether you can apply for it or not. So don't ask me if, oh, I'm studying bachelor's in biology, can I go for my master's in biology? This is something very subjective, and I cannot possibly answer to all of these questions. So don't ask me that. Okay, so let me tell you something about this, since I've mentioned it quite some times already about this organization funding the students. So the idea behind Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship was to invite and to accommodate a lot of international students from everywhere to come and have their education at Hungarian universities. Now, this was to promote cultural integration and to put an end to maybe the barriers and the borders and the language barriers and so many other things. And since I've been there for the last 2 years, I really feel it does really promote mutual I don't know, consent and living together and understanding the needs of each other. You come across people from different countries, cultures, even religions, and we learn to stay together, love each other, be like a family regardless of our differences. So this was basically the reason behind this entire idea of forming the scholarship. Now, the scholarship that you get is funded by this organization called Tempest Public Foundation. You will hear me talk about this a lot in my next segment. So that's why I just wanted to explain this to you beforehand, so whenever I talk about this, what do I actually mean. So you are funded by Tempest Public Foundation. They are the one offering the scholarship for the Hungarian institutes. And then there are two things that you need to know about this scholarship. There are two entities playing a role in the scholarship. That is the sending partner and the host. So for you, if you're applying from Pakistan, your sending partner is HEC, that is the Higher Education Commission, and your host is any Hungarian institute that you choose to go and study at. And you really need to be in contact with both of them, and it's really important. And you need to know the deadlines, when to apply, what are they asking, and how to apply, and so on. But for now, keep in mind HEC and Tempest Public Foundation. Okay? So, just a second. Okay. Okay, so I will also talk about the requirements for applying for this scholarship in a second, because I see so many of you are interested in about your GPA and your degrees and everything. I will tell you. And one thing, this scholarship is for bachelor's, master's, and PhD. So for bachelor's and master's, if it's something I haven't mentioned, you get 120 euros a month. That's 40,000 forints. But if you apply for a PhD, you're lucky because you get 500 euros a month. That's 1 lakh 40 or 50,000 forints every month that you get for yourself. So it's really good amount of money, and you can apply for any field. I mean, in bachelor's, master's, and PhD. And it does not cover medical or medicine or dentistry, but it does cover pharmacy as far as I remember. And I think some people are really curious to know about IELTS, so I'll just quickly mention this. It purely depends on your course you're applying for. For certain courses, you do not need IELTS. You can just have a English proficiency certificate from your college or your ex university, and they can say that, oh, this individual is really good with his speaking skills or writing skills, and we take responsibility, and we can tell you that he speaks really well. This kind of letter you get from the universities. I hope you do understand me. You can get that letter for yourself, and you can apply using that letter. It's not a problem. We call it English Proficiency Certificate. I did the same because I gave my IELTS in 2014, but when I was applying for the scholarship, my IELTS was expired because, unfortunately, I don't know why do they think we need to retake the exam after every 2 years, but that's how it is. So but I took the English Proficiency Certificate from my college, and I applied, and it really helped. Okay. Yeah. So how do you need to apply for this scholarship? I will also address this now. So basically, there are two separate portals that need to be taken under consideration when you're applying for this scholarship. The very first one is, as I mentioned before, HEC, Higher Education Commission, and the second one is the Tempest Public Foundation. So both of these portals are very crucial, and there are separate deadlines for both of them. I saw, like, I think yesterday, HEC posted this ad in the newspaper as well as on, I think, their website, that the deadline is, I think, 15th of January. And but as far as I remember, there needs to be two separate deadlines. One of them should be the end of December for one of the portals, and one of them should be in the mid of January. So you can just check. And you can have all this information on the HEC portal. And also, if you go on Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, you can check there for all these details that I'm mentioning in a written form as well. So for example, let's talk about the HEC portal first. You will go on the HEC website, you will open the e-portal, and you will see that you need to register. You need to register and then make an account, and you have to put up a picture. There are certain requirements for the documents that you need to upload. So for example, they will ask you to upload your attested documents for your previous degree. If it's bachelor's, master's, or it's your high school, you need to get them addressed from IBCC and or HEC. If it's a bachelor's or a master's degree, they need to be attested when they're uploaded. You need to upload your, the two important things is your motivational letter and your statement of purpose. There's a very fine line between both of them, so make sure you learn enough, you read enough before you write them, because it's very crucial to have very good letters before you apply, because the selection procedure basically depends on these two letters and your GPA as well. Of course, they need to see why they should select you for this course, what's so special about you. And because it's really competitive, the scholarship, so you really need to put in your efforts when you're writing your letters. So, but keep in mind that you need to follow the deadlines. I think it's 15 January, but you should still check it. And there's one thing that every time I do this webinar, I receive a lot of questions about missing documents. There's some students in Pakistan who do not have current passports, so they're always very concerned and worried. Oh, we don't know if we should apply for the scholarship because our passport is not made. But then I would like to tell you, it's okay if you have missing documents. If you have a degree in process and maybe you're in your last semester or you're something like that, so you can submit your missing documents in August. So if you have a passport missing, you can just write a letter on, Microsoft Word and tell them, oh, I have my passport in process, and you can even attach the slip. The office gives you a slip that you will get your passport in this certain time period, and you can just put it there and you can just show it to them. Oh, we will have my passport soon, so I can just attach it when I in August in the missing documents section, so they know that it's not something that you have forgotten to upload, but you will upload it when it's needed. So don't worry about it. Also, something very important is that there is this dilemma with the students while they're choosing a subject. They're not very sure. The thing is that you need to know why you're pursuing a certain course and if it suits you and if you can excel in it. So before you take advice for somebody else, you should just sit and self-evaluate yourself, that should you choose this or should you not. Because sometimes when I'm making decisions, there are so many voices and it's just so confusing and clogging for me. So I just sit down alone for some time and I think, okay, Fatima, this is this and this is that, and just think about everything very rationally and practically and make decisions, because you will follow this course in the future for your master's and your PhD, and you will do this. So don't take it like, oh, this is scholarship, apply for anything and just go. No, that's not the point of this. Okay, and about the subjects as well, there is this thing that certain subjects are offered by the university but not by HEC. So you need to choose a subject that is offered by both HEC and as well as Tempest Public Foundation. You cannot choose a course that is not mentioned in the HEC website or HEC's catalog for Stipendium Hungaricum, because then HEC will refuse to nominate you or select you or be your sending partner. So you need to be very careful. And if you have any queries about choosing the course and this HEC thing, I think they've mentioned a phone number as well, and as well as their email in the ad they posted in the newspaper and as well as the website, so you can just go there and check. I really recommend you do this before you just hop on and choose a course and then you feel like, oh my god, you were so misled. And okay, so after this I will take a few questions and then I will continue. And the second thing is that the second portal is Tempest Public Foundation. It is basically like a Hungarian portal for you to upload all your documents, motivational letters, statement of purposes, your CV maybe, and your pictures, your old experiences, anything. I don't know, they will mention it there. So you need to fill that form as well. There's a deadline for that too. Do not miss it. So basically, I think that's it for both. You just need to fill in both portals. If you fill one and you apply, you will be directly removed even for a consideration of the scholarship. You will not be considered. So do not think that you can just pursue either one of them, either Tempest or either HEC, and you can move forward. You cannot. I repeat, you cannot. You need to fill both. Okay? Okay. I will take some questions and then I will tell you what is the shortlisting procedure by HEC, the sending partner, and what you should prepare, what you should expect, and so on. But wait, because I think there are like a million questions now and it's too much. Okay. The scholarship will cover flight accommodation or not. I've mentioned this. Okay, IELTS or TOEFL necessary. I've also mentioned this. It depends on the course. You can go on the website and you can check if the course you're applying for requires an IELTS or TOEFL or not. Yes, there is a specific age for bachelor's, master's, and a PhD scholarship. As far as I know, for bachelor's, you need to be below 23. For master's, I'm not sure, but I think for PhD, it's about 30 to 35. But that's also mentioned. You can check. I'm sorry. It's just I haven't recently gone through this. Okay, so there's a question from Sayed Nader Shah. The question is that if you do masters from Hungary, what would be the chances to get a job there, and what are the requirements for masters? So basically, I cannot tell you the chances of getting a job. Okay, one more thing, if you guys want to be mind blown. Before you go for this Hungarian scholarship, HEC makes you sign a bond. It's like a 20-page sheet, I think. You need to sign it, and this sheet says as soon as you finish your bachelor's degree, you need to come back and you need to serve in your home country, that is Pakistan, for about 2 years. So basically, the idea behind this bond is that you're going on such a prestigious scholarship, you're going on merit, so you need to come back and you need to give something back to your country. But if you refuse to do so, you need to pay back the money. Um, and they paid for your entire 3 years or 5 years, depends what course you've gone for. So keep that in mind. So you're talking about jobs and everything. I'm not sure if it's that possible if you're on Stipendium Hungaricum unless you give them back their money. I'm sorry. Okay, so Zainab has a question. I have a question about motivational letter in the application form. There's a place where I can write the motivational letter and another place where I have to upload it. My question, do I have to write two motivational letters or only, you can just write, I hope you're not confused between motivational letter and statement of purpose, but you need to, oh my God, I think I'm losing a lot of questions. They're just going up. Anyways, I'm sorry. So you need to write one motivational letter, and I think you can upload the same. It's not a problem. I will just tell you about how do we prepare for the test, Muhammad Hakim, so don't worry. If the experience certificate of job is necessary. Okay, Ariba Bashir, the thing is, if you have a gap between your studies, for example, 3 years, you were just not in the educational field and now you want to apply for the scholarship, because there are a lot of students currently just coming out of, universities and everything, I do recommend that you just put in your experience letter that you were not just home, you were doing something productive with your degree and you were having your experience. So I think it's a added benefit. You should go for it. Okay, is the stipend enough to cover your expenses? Can the scholarship holder work part-time? I already mentioned that it depends actually completely on you if the stipend is enough or not, because it depends if you spend too much or you do not, and what is your current living style, where are you living, how do you manage your groceries every day or weekly or monthly. And yes, there are a lot of students who are working part-time. Okay. And also, if you have any problem in understanding English, you can ask me questions in Urdu as well. I would be happy to help because I can speak both. But the thing is, I always do my webinars in English because I feel like students are applying for international scholarship and they should know this bit of English before applying. Otherwise, I don't know how will they even manage studying in an entire English taught institute. So that's my reason. Uh-huh. Just a second. Okay, what if any Pakistani candidate is out from country, so still he needs to come through sender partner HEC or he should apply directly? Rizwan, there's no thing called directly. You need to apply through HEC if you're if you're a Pakistani. Okay. How many students will be selected for masters? As far as I remember, they have increased the ratio for students. When I came, it was about 120 students bachelors, around 40 to 50 masters, and 20 maybe PhD. So, but I heard that they've doubled the amount, but I'm not sure, so it's not authentic. So you need to double check it with HEC. Okay. You all are asking me how do you prepare for the test. I will tell you just in a bit. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to tell you now, and then I can take all the questions. So for the shortlisting, the thing is that every year, Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, they conduct a exam, so they can choose students on merit, because there is a huge amount of students all applying every year, and they really need to know if your knowledge is enough for you to pursue your education, and if you come from merit. It's just like if you're applying for any university in Pakistan and you give exams like MCAT, GAT, ACT, so it's something like this. So for if you're applying for bachelor's, your test should be biology, chemistry, physics, and I think English. And for masters, I think it's and masters and PhD, I think it's something like general knowledge. I'm not sure. They can even change it, but they will tell you in an email what you need to prepare. Um, and if they do not, I really recommend you speak to them before you go for the test, so you know what you should you should know your expectations. And so when I was applying, there was center in every big city. For example, in Lahore, in Karachi, in Islamabad. In Islamabad, my center was Namal, and they had this test for about like 1 hour. There were a lot of students for every category of bachelor's, master's, and PhD. My test was about like 100 multiple choice questions, as far as I remember. They were not very hard, I would be honest. They were pretty basic. But you need to go through all your high school books before you go for the exam, because even for basic things, you need to know the formulas, the definitions, and things like this. It's nothing very complicated like you get in your um, board examinations. Don't expect to start solving huge numerical problems or huge organic or non-organic chemistry things. Don't worry about it. It's not like this. I hope it's not, even this time. And once and the next year, HCC refused to take the entrance exam, like for shortlisting, and they just chose students based on their high school diplomas or their previous GPAs if they were applying for masters. So I don't know. They can be pretty spontaneous and innovative, I would say. So you should contact them and you should ask them if they're planning to take a test. But unfortunately, I don't know how will it be like this year again because of the pandemic. They have closed pretty much all the universities in Pakistan. And I don't think they will open the center for so many students to come and give the exam because it's so dangerous. So they might as well select you based on your previous record. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Sometimes it's a good thing. If your high school is bad, you can still come and merit if you have a good entrance exam. But what can I say? So if you go for the exam and you sit in the exam and you come on the merit and you clear it, then you're pretty much 50% done. I recommend you score around 80 to 85 in your entrance, I mean, this exam from HEC. I remember my score was 80 from 100 when I gave my exam. And once you're done with this, HEC, after I think a month, they upload a list on their website. It tells you if you were nominated or not. And if you're nominated, then your name goes on to all the Hungarian institutions, the ones you chose, because you can choose, I think, 2 or 3 institutions and programs. So, and then they choose you from your first option that you select on both the portals is taken under consideration at the highest priority. So they will see your application, your motivational letters, your score by HEC, your previous grades. And if they like everything, they will just select you and you can go study in your first option. Or then if they don't like you, then your second and then your third. That is how it goes. And I already told you what is the course, so what you need to study for masters and PhD. I'm not sure because it's general knowledge, so maybe it's like GAT, the book that you need to go through for general assessment tests, something like this. but again, reconfirm it from ACC. So basically, that's the shortlisting procedure, and within like around June or July, you get this letter from the Hungarian institutes if you were selected or not. So you get your conditional letters and you get your selection letters, and you can just be very happy. And then you can start applying for your visa procedures, and by I recommend you go to your respective institutes by the end of August, because the universities, they start around in the start of September. But it's always good to have some extra time to yourself, so you can settle, you can buy your stuff, your groceries, and you can make some friends, and you can go around the campus, and you can see, you can settle before you start your studies, basically. Okay, so now I'll go again to the questions. Oh my god, there are too many. Is there any simple paper or sample for test? Zahid, I would say there's this group on Facebook. It's about Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship holders. They keep on posting stuff related to the scholarship. They also posted some, old papers, so you can go check, and you can see if you can find some old papers, because when I was applying, I could find. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the GPA. It's a good question again. The thing is about GPA that you can apply even if you have a low GPA, because it can be like, maybe if the HEC conducts a test and you come on merit, and you perform really good, then you have chances of getting a scholarship on the basis of this test. And even if you don't have a very good GPA, or maybe they like your motivational lecture too much, maybe your work experience, or your maybe volunteering activities or something, so I would say you have nothing to lose, just apply anyways. Okay, it's a good question. If your documents aren't attested from HEC and there is a wave, COVID. Okay, I don't know if you can upload your documents without them being attested, unfortunately, because I think they really ask you to upload your attested documents. But maybe you can email HCC and ask them if they can give you a letter that because of the current pandemic situation in Pakistan, they are unable to attest documents because the offices are closed, and everyone is working from home. And then maybe the Hungarian institutes will consider your application anyways, and then you can upload them in August in the missing documents. I don't know if it works or not. I'm just guiding you. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. If someone selects two different departments, should we write two motivational letters? You know what I did? I applied for psychology as my first two options, and the third one was international relations. So I wrote my motivational letters on both. But the one I wrote in the the space they provided, I wrote about the psychology. But when I needed to upload the documents, I uploaded both for IR and as well as psychology. That's what I thought was the right thing to do. You clear the point that we can't go with one partner only. So I am out of Pakistan. So how can we apply? You need to come back to Pakistan and you have to apply, especially if they are taking a test, because you need to sit in it. The maximum funding, okay, Shariar, hello. He's asking what's the maximum funding duration of scholarship for masters. So for masters, they fund for 2 years, but I think if you extend the semester, if you were unable to clear a course, then I think they may be extended for another year or 6 months. But some students, they make a mistake about they think if they don't defend their thesis, they can have a scholarship for another 6 months, but that's not how it goes. You need to go back home and you need to reapply for your visa or something if that happens. But in case if you haven't cleared a course, like then you can have your degree extended for another 6 months and have the scholarship. But if you plan on graduating on time, it's 2 years. Okay. I'm asking about high school and secondary school mark sheets. You need to get them attested. They need to be tested before you upload them. And if they're not, I don't know, uh, ask HEC. Mhm. Is IELTS necessary for every program? No, it's not. If I'm 23, I cannot apply for scholarships. I'm not sure. I think you can apply if you're 23, but you cannot apply if you have already crossed 23. I think it goes like this. I hope you can apply, Zen. I'm sorry if I know it's a sad news when you just cannot apply because of your age. I do understand this. I told you how to do prep for the test. You need to, if you're applying for bachelor's, you study your high school books, and if you're applying for your master's or PhD, you study general knowledge books. That is GAT, I think. I'm not sure about any diploma programs, Rida. I'm sorry. Okay. Where will the test be held? It depends on your, what do they say? There's this document that shows where you come from. I really forgot this. Okay, so it shows if you're from Punjab, you're from Sindh, or your which province you come from, and then there's and also which city you're currently residing in, and then you can have the closest center to it. Is the English language proficiency test mandatory for international relations in UP, Safila? I don't think it's mandatory. I think you can just upload a certificate from your college that you speak well. And then, even the university will interview you anyway, so they can see if you speak well or not. So I think you'll be fine if you're particularly asking me about University of Page, which you've mentioned. Mm, Diploma courses, I have no idea, Rida. I'm sorry. LLM. I'm not sure if there's law at a bachelor's level. You can check, but there sure is for PhD level. Thanks, ma'am. You're welcome. What things will make our motivational letter more attractive? Any tips? Do not be hasty. That would be my very first advice. Take enough time for yourself to sit down, isolate yourself, read, some letters written and posted over the internet. They were really good. Like they uploaded as samples probably for people to read and learn. So read them and see how they've stipulated the entire motivational letter, how they've divided the letter into segments, what is the flow, how is this transition from one paragraph to the other, what points have they mentioned from their own life. For me, I can tell you that for my own motivational letter, I wrote why was I so interested in this course, what parts of my personality suited were well suited, for me and for me to choose this course. And what else? Even my internships that I did related to this course that I wanted to choose. And, everything, I just give everything a really, really personal touch because I think that's the entire purpose of motivational letter. It's not something like a professional essay because honestly, they are not interested in reading something, very well written with extraordinary vocabulary. You can even write simple words, but they should mean something to you. hmm When will the test be conducted? It's usually conducted in February. Which country is this for? It's for Hungary. It borders with Austria, if you know. Oh, if your country is not in the list, then you cannot apply. I'm sorry. I'm in the 7th semester of my bachelor. Can I apply? Yes, you can apply, and then maybe you can upload your final transcript in the missing documents in August. If you have joined just now, Israr, when this webinar is done, you can go back and listen to the things I've already mentioned, because honestly, I cannot repeat. Should I have a thesis subject to apply for PhD, Miss Fatima? I think for thesis, for PhD, it's something very different. You need to contact a person from the university you're interested to apply in, and then you need to speak to a supervisor, and you need to give them an idea that you want to conduct research on this. And if they accept you and they send you a letter that, okay, I am willing to take you under my supervision and you can come and work in my labs at the university, I think then only you can apply for the PhD, because that's how you get selected. I think, I'm not sure. Ah, okay. So wow, I was able to do a lot of questions. Uh, Let me just see if there's something else missing, and then maybe I'll just you know end the webinar, because I've already mentioned everything. Okay, some other things that are very basic. You can manage your living by cooking. So when you're coming, I really recommend you learn some basic cooking skills. Do not just come if you're telling yourself, oh, I know how to boil an egg, I can survive. No, no, man, you cannot survive if you just know how to boil an egg and drink some milk. You need to cook, and you need to learn. This is a basic life skill. You need to, when you come, you can, for transportation, it's like you can buy passes for every month, and you can use the trams, you can use the buses. There are buses everywhere, the stops. So especially for my city, it's Page. It's a university town. It's very small and compact, and we have bus stops every like 5 minutes. So basically, you don't walk a lot. You can just take a bus, you can take a pass, and you can travel. It's easy. And just remind me anything if I have already missed, because I think I have pretty much mentioned everything. Wow, they're long questions again. Sophie is asking, what would you suggest to an aspirant of Stipendium Hungaricum scholarship, Pakistan, who is currently a freshman in IBA Karachi but does want to go abroad for studies at Hungarian universities, better very reputed than Pakistan elite university like LUMS and IBA? Sophie, the thing is that you can, I mean, it's your own personal choice, but from my point of view, it's just completely on you to either choose a very good, well-reputed university in your country, or you can choose an international university, an international environment, uh, be independent, be a scholar, um, interact with people from all over the world, make friends, um, experience different cultures, go through this religious differences, and still manage to be, good friends with people. You will evolve, you will grow. It's a very, very different kind of life that you experience as a student in an international environment. And regardless of whatever university you come from in Pakistan, I would recommend 1,000 times to go for this scholarship and take the experience, because I think it's worth it. It's not just about a degree that you take at the end of the day. It's like you are spending your time through it. So if your degree is for about 3 years, the time you spend here in Pakistan, it's also a degree, but it's also a life that you're spending, right? It's the choices you're making, it's the people you're meeting, it's the experiences you're going through. So it just takes a whole new level when you just decide to go abroad, and you learn things in a very different way, and basically you grow up. That's what I say. Even the grown-up men and women here in Pakistan act like babies in their bachelor's and master's degree. They get home cooked food, wash clothes, everything is done. They just come home. Even then they brag about, oh my god, I'm so tired, I had to study a lot and things. But students internationally, they have multiple subjects. They do every single thing on their own. They're away from their parents. They learn so many things at such a young age. It just makes them very self-reliant, independent, and they grow to a whole new level. So anytime and any day, I would recommend to apply for, an international program and go and experience. It's an experience. Your life is an experience. You cannot just be born here and die here. It's, I don't know how people do that. I haven't ignored any queries on purpose. It's just there were so many questions and they just went by, and I don't know how to access them anymore. But maybe you can just mention them in the comments afterwards, and I will try to answer them. What what is your opinion regarding to your knowledge? I'm sorry, Abbas, I did not even understand the question you just asked me. Okay, so I'm sorry guys if I've ignored some of your questions. It's just there were so many and I was talking about other topics as well. Maybe you can just mention them in the comments and I will reply to them afterwards, or if it's related to ATC, you can just directly ask them the questions about the courses or the test or anything else. And I think I'm done here. I hope I was helpful and I hope I was able to inspire you to apply for this program as well. And I was able to help you realize that how important it is for you to experience different things in your life. And before ending this webinar, I would ask you all to please be careful, wear your masks, and sanitize your hands. Protect yourself and protect your loved ones because it's very important. As you all know, the number of COVID cases is rising to drastic amounts every day, everywhere. It's our responsibility as productive citizens of the society to be very careful for the sake of love and family and society. And on this note, I would like to say goodbye. Um, and I will try to answer any other questions in the comments below. Thank you very much and bye bye.